Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here. Welcome back to the channel for a quick update on Kadena. So what do you know? In the past few days, Kadena has broken down into new bear market lows, wicking as low as 75 cent before having a bounce back up to 79 cent. Has anything changed with our macro analysis? Are we changing any of our price targets? And what are we doing with our KDA trade, which is currently 145% in the profit? We'll talk about all of this and more. Let's start off with a higher time frame. So like we said, we've been predicting this for a while. We entered our trade based on a few different things: reversions to the EMA ribbons, reversions to the bull market support bands. Every time these have happened, we've had some pretty significant moves to the downside, and we're just getting that continuation in the macro as we have been predicting. In the higher time frames as well, we are still coming down to these same price targets. Our take profit on our trade is of course the first volume profile at 69 cent. The next macro place that you can find any support is the psychological level, and also a huge cluster of liquidity down here at 50 cent. In that respect, these higher time frame charts have not changed. They are just developing with our analysis, such as the head and shoulders pattern. As you can see, we're just getting that continuation. Price target still down at 55 cent. Nothing too special to update in here, but let's come over to some more interesting charts. In our last video 5 days ago, we talked about how on average, if you're looking at the stochastic RSI, we normally tend to bottom around about the 0 region for the blue moving average, the short-term moving average, before having a subsequent further, 42 days of pain or so to continue to the downside. So in this respect, it's been 5 days since we predicted another 42 days worth of pain. So, coming into the new opening on Monday, we should only have about 35 days with about, potentially another 37 days worth of chop to the side, and also further capitulations to ensue for KDA. So we've still got a little bit more room for the stochastic RSI to break down, and we've still got more room to break to the downside. If history is any indication, you can see when the stochastic RSI comes down to this 0 mark, you already have started a significant move, but the chances are you've got more room to move to the downside before you do find a local bottom. So with that being said, in approximately a month's time, when I do see the stochastic RSI, both of the moving averages come down to 0 and start to consolidate, I will be flipping short-term bullish. But for right now, I still stick with my guns with what we talked about in our previous video. Kadena still probably does have another 37 or 38 days worth of pain to come, and this can of course correlate to Kadena moving down to our price targets, which we've highlighted, 50 cent and also 55 cent, the head and shoulders price target. Now, if we come over to the lower time frames, I just want to do some quick lower time frame analysis before I do update what I am going to be doing with my trade. So there's really not too much to update in the lower time frames. We had a lot more to update in our previous videos when we were detailing all the reasons why we were going to come down and make new lows. Since we've come down and made new lows, there's only a few things that I want to update, so this is why I said we'll fly through this video today. As you can see, bear market lows were down here, 79 cent. Candle body closes on the bear market lows were up here at 81 cent. If you can see what has happened, you can see we've obviously had this major meltdown coming into new bear market lows. We wicked through the floorboards at 75 cent, and we've been putting in some candle body closes right on the support of the bear market lows. Now, when we have had this bounce, you can see we've bounced up and we've pretty much come right into contact with this huge previous support, and it looks like at this moment in time we are flipping this previous support as resistance. So things are not looking too good. On the 4-hour time frame, if we pull our, let's find some EMA ribbons. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, we're actually rejecting from the EMA ribbons right now, and you can see pretty much since we flipped bearish on the 4-hour time frame up at $1, we beautifully came into contact with these and we broke down. We came into contact with them again, broke down, contact, broke down, contact, broke down, contact, broke down, break down, break down, breakdown. And right now, I think we're kind of setting up that next potential breakdown for Kadena. Now, personally, at least as of right now, I wouldn't be predicting another major nuke for Kadena. Obviously, in the past 2 weeks or so, we were predicting a nuke based on the fact that we were breaking down from this head and shoulders. But right now, we are kind of just testing this support region. And, you know, obviously, we're still in our short. Nothing's changed from there. I don't think we're going to have a major bounce or anything. But I am just going to be, you know, watching watching, not really predicting a major nuke down, not really predicting a major nuke up. And there is a very specific reason for this. Number one, I want to see how we react when we are in this zone. Now, personally, I do think we obviously retest this area here before breaking back down further. We could potentially even push as high as 81 to 82 cent, coming up to, you know, the previous candle body closes on the daily time frame where the lows were consolidated. Also, what's to stop us from just pushing a tiny bit further, maybe 83 or 84 cent? The major reason why I want to, you know, highlight that I do expect a little bit more chop, at least for the next few days, before we do have that next major meltdown to the downside, is what is happening in Bitcoin. So a lot of what is happening with Kadena is very hingent on what happens with Bitcoin right now. In the higher time frames, you can see we had this massive support region. We broke down from this. This was the distribution phase at the top of the bull run. We broke down quite recently, we came back into this, flipped it as resistance, and we have been breaking down to the downside. So on the bearish side of things, you can say, hey, we're now beneath this support. We've broken beneath 28,000, so we're bearish. But on the flip side, we've got the 200-week moving average beneath us, and on the daily time frame, if we zoom in, we temporarily bounce from this. Now, I do think we are looking extremely weak right now, but what I do want to highlight is I wouldn't be jumping the gun and saying Kadena's ready to absolutely nuke through the floorboards right now, or I wouldn't be saying a crazy bullish bounce is happening. I think obviously we're in our trade, we entered from a position of strength. Right now is not really the position of strength that I would be looking at new positions from. And really, like I said, we're trading in a tight range for Bitcoin right now. I don't expect the markets to do anything significant until Bitcoin decides whether it wants to bounce heavily from the 200-week moving average and then break back above this 28,000 region, or whether it simply wants to absolutely nuke through the floorboards of the 200-week moving average at 26,000. So Bitcoin is trading between this tight range right now, 28,000 and 26,000. Right now, I wouldn't be particularly wanting to predict tons of different things for these cryptos. What I'd want to be doing is I'd want to be waiting to react and see what happens for Bitcoin. If we break through the floorboards next week, come back up and retest 26,000 as resistance, and then start to break down, I will be putting out new updates for altcoins, especially KDA, letting you know that I think this retest would have completed and we are ready to break down into further bear market lows, lower than the ones that we put in the other day. Until that happens, I really just expect a little bit of chop to take place in the lower time frames before we're ready to move down. Now, bear in mind, like I said, all of this is hinging on what happens with Bitcoin. If we start off Monday and Bitcoin just tanks through 26,000, throw that out the window. If Bitcoin starts tanking beneath 26,000, I no longer expect this consolidation to take place. Basically, I expect we consolidate until Bitcoin breaks beneath 26,000. Once 26,000 is lost with a volume confirmed rejection on 26,000, I will be screaming for Kadena to come down to these price targets we've been highlighting, like 69 cent and 50 cent. But until that happens, I will be on the sidelines. Now, on the daily time frame, on the 4-hour time frame, all I really want to highlight that's happening right now is we are just stair-stepping lower, making, lower lows, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So in general, I do continue to expect us to just keep on stair-stepping down, but we could consolidate a little bit before breaking back down. That's really what I wanted to highlight in this video. Keep your eyes on Bitcoin at 26,000, but in general, just continue to expect the stair-stepping effect to take place. Now, over on the Heikin-Ashis, you can see this absolutely monumental bleed out. Whenever Kadena starts these bleed outs, they normally take place for a very unprecedented amount of time. However, as you can see previously, if we come back down to Kadena's previous bear market lows, if we highlight this range over here, you can see once Kadena wicked for its bear market lows over here, it bounced back up and then came back down and flipped it as support, bounced around for a bit, and it just really remained range bound and choppy for about a month, from the 21st of September until the 6th of November. So could something like this take place? I personally don't think so. I think the markets are really primed for capitulation looking at what's happening on Bitcoin. But like I said, I wouldn't put it past Kadena to just expect a little bit more chop in the lower time frames. On the weekly though, in general, everything is absolutely falling through the floorboards, and I continue to expect things like the weekly Heikin-Ashis to continue bleeding out until we come down to, 69 cent and 50 cents. So what I'm really saying is don't focus too much on the 4 hour, don't focus too much on the daily. Keep your eyes on things like daily Heikin-Ashis, weekly Heikin-Ashis, and just look at the price week by week, not hour by hour. So is there anything else to update before we talk about our trade? KDA BTC, all I really want to say is that we've obviously been making this bearish pennant or expanding channel or megaphone, whatever you want to call it. We've broken to the downside of this trend line, and it looks like we're retesting it and starting to move back down lower. The EMA ribbons are starting to catch up, so I do expect in the next few days for them to come into contact and that next major meltdown to take place for KDA BTC, and we may witness Kadena drop about another 28% to the downside against its Bitcoin pair. Now let's update the trade. What is happening with our KDA trade? Right now we're sitting in approximately 143% profit, maybe 140% after fees. Things are looking good right now, so I want to obviously lock in more profit from this trade. What I'm going to be doing is looking at a few different regions that I've got my eyes on. Number one, we do have some touch points down here. If we draw our Fibonacci from swing high down to swing low, you can see our 618 Fibonacci is already above our stop loss. I want to move this down to at least the 0.5 Fibonacci, but really, I don't expect whatsoever for Kadena just to, pump up 25% or so. Even a 20% pump from the lows just seems a little bit unlikely in my opinion. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving this down to where in the next few days we're going to come into contact with the long-term moving average. Let's see how far away this is from our 5x leverage. This would be about a 16.5% drop. This would only be locking in about 82.5% profit though. So what I may actually do is I'm going to move this down to a 20% drop from our entry. So put quite simply, this is just above these wicks, just above these wicks, just above these wicks, and a 20% drop to the downside is of course on a 5x leverage a 2x return. So worst comes to worst, my analysis is wrong, the KDA bottoms in, the bull run's ready to start, we pump back up and our trade gets liquidated in a 2x return. So that's really what I see right now. Obviously, congratulations to the Cowboy family if you have been in this trade with me. We are now sitting in 100% realized profit, and we've got 45% unrealized profit to the downside on this trade. So things are looking very, very good right now. As always, I expect further continuation to come with this trade, but if we do now draw our new stop loss line, this is where it's going to be. After I finish recording this video, I am going to punch that stop loss into my exchange. So basically, this is sitting at 89.5 cent. If you want to put it at a slightly different region, it's completely up to you. If you want to be, more conservative in case a bounce happens, of course, short-term moving average up here. There's a few different places you can target. Really, I think this one's quite conservative because, in my opinion, the likelihood of an 18.5% bounce from the lows for Kadena right now, while Bitcoin is showing this major weakness, is not likely to happen, in my opinion. But nonetheless, we're securing more profit. This is currently what I am doing for my KDA trade. Once again, congratulations to all the Cowboys. The stop loss, or the take profit rather, sorry, is all the way down here at 68.1 cent, 69 cent approximately. I think over on this chart, actually, it's coming in at 69. I know that I've got my take profit at 69.5 cent approximately, so just above the volume profile. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. That's what I'm doing with my trade. That's what I think's happening with Kadena in the higher time frames. In the lower time frames, really nothing has changed from our last video. I still expect another 37 to 38 days worth of pain based on these charts that we've been looking at. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. As always, if you do enjoy my content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment, share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button and become a member today. Also, if you are in the trade with me and you are making insane profits right now, let me know in the comment section down below, or make sure to come over and join the Discord. If you head over to the YouTube and click on the About section, you can see all of my official links for Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and my merch store are below. I recommend coming and joining the Discord and joining the Cowboy family. Also, I think I might have said this already, I'm not sure, but make sure to follow me over on Twitter at 618_Cowboy. I'll leave it here. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out, my friends. Peace.